Beta is welcome and welcome in. We're back. Whitmore, Genshin Impact. The last time we left off on going to court. Now we just have to get to court basically. I think this is how you get to the court. I'm not too sure.
This boat tour will take you to the magnificent Court of Fontaine, the most
That
important
character
city in
is
our
so
nation.
cute.
Speaking of Fontaine, you may have heard of the unique trials held in our courts, and presume this nation to be a very serious and solemn place. In reality, Fontaine is also a center of culinary and artistic delights, full of fine architecture, music.
How interesting.
and
We're
delicacies.
learning about some
Pieces that are
Fontaine
well
lore.
worth experiencing for yourself. Why is architecture first in this list, you might ask? For good reason. Because for any new passengers, you'll get your very first look at the splendor of the Court of Fontaine towards the end of this tour. So keep your eyes peeled and prepare to gasp with amazement when the moment comes.
I wonder how long the trip is.
Passengers, the aqua bus is now arriving at
He isn't
Pursuit
talking
Tunnel.
much. I have a lot of things to do in Genshin, but I want to try get to the new region first. I will try to unlock some of the other stuff after. What do we do? Most of the region
The
things.
boat is now entering Poisson Tunnel. Everyone should now be able to see the light from the aqua bus more clearly. Beautiful, isn't
And
it?
maybe the character
It's
stories.
very different from the
I know I
fluorescent
have a
materials
lot
used
to
in
do for
Sumeru,
that too.
or the torches used in other countries. These are Fontaine exclusive night lights powered by Indemnitium.
I think for the
Of course,
Oculus Eye,
Indemnitium isn't just for such
missing
trivial
one
uses
in
as
Inazuma.
light.
And then I
Indemnitium
have
is
to
a
get
power
most of
source,
them from
capable not only of powering this tiny boat,
Farina,
but also
Anna
meeting the daily
Farina.
energy demands of an entire city.
Was the other one
Plus,
Nadia?
it's completely safe.
Nadia's
You'll have the chance
place.
to learn more about this
I
amazing
forgot
power
what
source
it's
once
called.
you reach the Court of Fontaine.
It's been a while. I have to do most of that. But I should be done with the monster and leeway. I don't like to collect the Oculus until like way after I'm done with everything.
Ahem.
Like the story and
Looking at that on your
such.
right-hand side, you'll see Aeneas, where the Opera Epiclese is located. Do you see that really tall structure?
Oh,
I once
is
asked
that where we're
Elsa,
going?
"What's that big old thing?" She said, "No clue. What's the use of learning the meaning of things?" But anyway, Elfan is a super amazing and super friendly Melusine. If you have a chance, you really should take the Navia line and listen to her
Yeah,
tour.
I am.
Behind me
I
is the
did.
destination of our tour. The
Didn't get the
magnificent Court
chance
of
to
Fontaine.
stream.
Please take all
I'm not
hoyoverse
too
will
sure
liaise with you when you disembark.
what my stream schedule is gonna be like this week, so I wanted to stream while I could. I'm just catching up with the Genshin Impact story. I heard Milani is go away today or tomorrow. I'm not too sure when.
Oh no, I almost forgot.
Yeah, basically winging it today.
All aboard the aquabus! Please keep your head, hands, and other body parts.
I used to roller to see what game I should play today, and they chose Genshin.
Inside the boat at all times. The aquabus operator bears no responsibility whatsoever for any injury or loss incurred as a result of disobeying the rules. Maybe it's a bit late for the disclaimer. Anyway, I'm happy you've had an incident-free journey today, and it was my pleasure to serve as your tour guide for this trip. Thank you!
We're not even on the map. Well, that's an achievement right there. Let's see, do I have to take another boat ride? I guess not. Oh, nice, nice. I hope you have a good day at work.
If you lie on the grass, you can feel the heartbeat of the
Probably see you in about an hour then. I have no idea where I am right now. It seems like I'm getting there. Wherever there is. Oh. That's good that you're juggling well enough. At work. It must be a little hard having work. Managing mostly by yourself.
Next on the agenda.
Look up until I see the red beacon. Where am I supposed to go? You played this, that's why. So you wouldn't know where to go, right? Am I heading in the right direction? Is saying that I'm not? Oh, that's good that you got some help at work.
We're way behind schedule.
I feel like not getting any help at all would be a little stressful. I know how that feels, and not getting help at all when there's a lot going on. Okay, Lancer, I'll see you then. Have a good time at work for your last hour. Hopefully there's no rush or anything. Anything. There's 3 parts in the sky, right? Am I going the right way? I don't know if I am. Or do I take the elevator all the way up?
Next on the agenda.
Can I have clothes? Never
We're
mind.
way behind schedule.
Oh my god, what the heck? You can just scale the
We're way
walls.
behind schedule.
I don't know where I am. Or if I'm going the right way. So do I just scale the walls all the way up? You don't let me go past anywhere.
An antique's value is in the eye of the beholder.
Where am I? This is where I am on the map. I have to go this way. Oh, wait. I think I unlocked
Next
over
on the
there.
agenda.
Oh my god, I could have just went here.
We're way behind schedule.
We're at the part where we go to court, I think.
Next on the agenda.
Do you know how long? What is this? Fontaine is. Oh. I guess I'm still investigating. I thought I finished investigating though. I swear I was. Oh my god. Thank you for the work then. Oh, maybe I should read those.
These are the clothes that the
Oops.
lady chosen from the audience was wearing,
And
right?
it's okay,
Her clothes
right?
are here, but she's
Now.
nowhere to be found.
Lenny didn't mention the guests having a wardrobe change.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them? Ugh, this is so confusing.
Forgot my mom was wearing this. Stupid. This stupid disguise. Oh my god, it's so funny.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear. And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Let's note this down too and think about it later.
I wanted that character so bad. Broken flower vase. There are many pieces of a broken flower vase on one side of the tunnel. All the water within it has been spilled. Judging from the distance, it seems unlikely that it was knocked over by the trolley meant to transport the magic box. Okay. That's useful information, guys. I played Danganronpa. Guys, my precision is required to complete this magic, and track's okay. Well, I was still reading, but that's okay. kinds of props and costumes are haphazardly stuffed inside. The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box
What
to
is
the
this
other
place?
side, the corporate up. Looks like a vent. Oh my god, guys among us, they're venting.
Just do it!
There, little sissy. MMM.
It seems someone could fit through here.
Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
I want a Nave so bad.
But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
But there are no other ways in or out of here.
Other than those. And Lenny. And Lynette. We're in the 2 magic boxes.
Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that
Yeah.
down.
Tunnel vent. The tunnel vent looks like it could allow 1 person passage. Barely, but leave. Leave me alone with the missing lady. Unrealistic prospect? That's very interesting. All these clues guys jotted down. We need them for the court case. What else am I supposed to examine? Already examined this. MMM. I don't think there's anything else down here that we need to examine. Do I have to sell? I guess I do. I wish you would tell me what I have to look at.
Looks like a hook
Oh.
tied to the end of a rope. Huh? There's all kinds of odds and ends here.
Lenny didn't mention this earlier.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Dropped hook rope. A rope that has fallen to the ground. A metal hook has been tied to one end of this rope. Its use is unclear.
Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
All right. Okay, now.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding.
Why is guards spelled differently here?
Become like a secret chamber den.
Wouldn't it be
Like the kind
guards?
you usually see in novels.
It would seem so.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
Sort. Oratress will too.
That's right. This is how Indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. And not that this has ever happened anyway.
Fascinating.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Novelet called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a
Okay,
point.
sober.
That said, are they providing food?
Of course.
Oh my
I
God.
just hope you don't mind the lack
Hey
of
man,
options.
calm
I'm
down.
afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee
Now's
of
not the
balanced
time to be
nutrition.
picky.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
She wants to take me out.
Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Take up the offer. I'm in.
Just kidding! Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, Demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
I bet you she's a big snack girl. Just like
You're
me.
carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the Demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group.
She's cooking for us. Wife material right there. Must be a Spinner de Rosala thing.
And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the oven. Oh, it's even
Well,
better now.
she made like macarons.
Stop drooling. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around,
Actually
I
looks
thought you
pretty
had this
good.
before during the baking
was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Note. They helped a lot guys during the process. That's not quite what Pima meant, but okay.
Paima was just thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks.
So true.
Don't underestimate beating
I
egg
like
whites,
to
by the
dress
way.
up like
It's a
her.
real arm workout. You
I
also
work
need to
on
bake them to just the
dresses.
right consistency, or your macarons will crack. Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well,
I
even
love
Mr.
dressing up
Sweets might
fancy,
send all
and
that
I
sugar
still
to
do
your
stuff.
head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
Thank you. Why don't you take a break as well?
No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
All right then.
Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
So apart from the twins, I left with 2 people, the missing girl and the deceased.
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
There is no evidence that this third person even exists. My man looks so stupid in that.
True. None of the clues
Oh
we
my
found thus far
God.
support the existence of this third person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowell.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowell before making her escape?
But she had no way of knowing how the magic trick worked.
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things,
I don't
this is
think
turning
we
into an
were.
impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and super sweet!
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right.
Dang, my mom. Save some for the rest of us.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others
Are you
would
sure
mad
about
her.
that? It's fine if he ate them. You ate them. it's fine. Everyone knows how much you love eating.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach!
Alright,
Hi,
get it.
I'm on.
Well, I suppose
We've
one
been
of us might have
traveling
gotten
for
too
so
engrossed in our
long.
chat and
I'm
eaten them
just
by
not
mistake.
going to believe you.
Malus, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Oh, there's really no need to do that. I'll sweet up her.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
Well, that's it for
She
snack time.
loves
I'm
baking.
going to have another look around
Oh
the
my
area.
god, she's like
Don't
me
know
for
what we're
real.
looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again.
And
It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
Alright, thanks for your help, and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
probability of a third person being involved. Neither Cowboy nor Ashley had a motive. But after having talked to Nadia, the likelihood of a third person being involved seems very low too.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense
We
ready for
have
the
to
trial.
wait.
Huh?
Sorry, fine man. I just skipped over your talking. We'll grab the achievement real quick. Have gems on. Scout. I don't think I have enough gems to scout yet. Participate in the trial. Aw.
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing.
I do have some thoughts. But let's take them step by step.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Goodbye, guys. Okay, it's time to go to court.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
I'm gonna be so mad if Arena did this, just to learn what the trick was.
You ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm
How
guilty.
can you prove that?
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
What could Lily not know about that sound?
From inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
They probably represent the old stands on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from
Do
the
you
House
think
of the
South
Hearth?
Arena?
The House of the Hearth?
The fat we.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm
Yeah,
sure there
you
is
should
little
tell
that
us
needs to be
why.
kept secret now.
Not
Unless
bad.
your script already has holes
But
in
Farina, you don't have any
it.
evidence
is
either.
Speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting in Discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all
It's not hearing their
is
thoughts.
really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order!
Annie and Lynette
Mr.
are for
Lynn,
2
allow me to
weeks.
re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
There's no doubt about a magician's ability to con others. Even how Lenny has concealed his identity past child is in here, and volunteering along with other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work
Please
here.
answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I've been a victim of such schemes before and now.
Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
And
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
they're really going at it. Permission to speak, Your Honor.
Granted.
My client has withheld some key information. My defense cannot proceed.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
He said he will have order.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
All right, what are we going to do now?
Well,
the court is adjourned.
Awkward.
You mean while
I didn't think
Linnea and
Paimon would
Lynette
dig all that
backstage
up.
in the Hopper
I'm
House?
sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vitui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends.
That's a good reason.
That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
But how can we know this isn't all just another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a
That's
Fatu
true.
as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that.
I guess so. Explain the other issue first. Where did she actually go while the trick was being performed?
Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask.
No
We've been trying
lies
to find out how
before.
the Oratrice operates.
I'm
We want to know
on.
why it has a
We'll
consciousness.
go rogue
Why
on
can
you.
it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
And what did you find?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Oh, I see, I see. But why do you want to understand how the entrepreneurs operate?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth.
Yes.
I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your
Well,
lead
we
however
trust
you choose.
Child, right? I believe in the facts. I will defend you from these charges. I will. Believe that judgment will be dispensed as it should.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
Actually, we already have the key evidence that we need.
Huh?
The adjournment's almost over. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Bellini's statement. Lenny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the Oratrice core upon entering the tunnel, and did not witness the crime taking place, and thus did not hear the thud. The voice in the Oratrice core chamber. Lainey claims to have heard a mysterious voice within the chamber that houses the Orange Rice Core. Within the Opera House is underground structures. Got it. totally failed the trial so bad.
Both parties have returned to their
The
positions.
wreath
Let
adjournment
us continue
ends,
the
and the
trial.
nail-biting trial
When last we left
begins.
off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
Ugh, that took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Based on the opposition account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statements. Alright, I'll try to. I don't know how good I'll do. Use evidence includes obtained during the investigation through. Review any erroneous assertions of. Affect every replicate some with new inter-inferences. Use your reputation to convince the audience to and obtain more from the people. The oratrace will display such shifts clear. When you find a review all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of reputation and veil the truth.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, K.O.K.O arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box.
I think that might be a loophole. I'm not too sure.
To his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that K.O.K.O's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
I don't know about that one, Farina.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linney experienced and what he saw.
Oh my god, we actually have a voice line from our character. Wow. You don't see that too often. Again, Chin.
According to Linney, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel.
We can repeat this, maybe?
He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Okay, got that right. Repeat this one. I don't know if this one would be. No, okay. I can't do that one either. I'm guessing maybe this one? I don't know if it would be this one or this one. No. No. Which one can I do? None of them. Actually, I could just do this.
Underground altercation.
Oh.
He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Okay, there's that one.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Okay, there we go. Took me a bit, but...
When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel.
You tell him I'm on.
But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent!
Wow. Time I got good deduction skills.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Oh, wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the
It would have been more awesome if you took out that disguise. Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The on-stage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion. However, you see the account won't bump into Lenny by chance.
If that's the case, then if K.O.K.O hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around. Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Do you happen to remember? How you refuted Lenny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Your claim has now become my weapon. Here, claim has also become a crucial clue. Wow. Let's see.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic.
Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Feel like I'm watching Danganronpa. The murderer was. Select answers and fill all the empty gears to verify the correctness of your deduction. If you have made mistakes, you must make another selection from the remaining options. We're just playing Danganronpa for real. Once you have answered all the questions correctly, you can complete this logic chain. The guard's investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the rope suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cal in the box. If Lenny is no longer under suspicion, only the other members of the trope would have been able to tamper with the props. Lenny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using the box inside a box, the idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across. Yeah, no. Underneath and leaning herself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Linda and her assistant would take charge of on-stage interactions. The clothes belonging to his health. C. The lady who went missing were found in the tunnel. The reasoning for this remains unknown.
The deceased's name is K.O.K.O, Linny's assistant.
Select any clues to view
Would have been able
detail.
to tamper with the equipment.
Okay, let's see the first one, I guess.
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility? The deceased's name is K.O.K.O.
Was it this one? Okay, we
That
did
can't be
it.
right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, K.O.K.O, the deceased!
Oh, is that so?
Is he actually dead though?
Interesting. Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What K.O.K.O did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
How can we envision Lindsay as having unable to
Sounds we
interfere
heard may
with the
have come from a
crime?
clash between them. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal. The sound we heard may have come from a
Select
clash between
that.
the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
Select that.
The deceased's name is K.O.K.O, Linny's assistant.
That and this.
He would have been. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent.
There, you said
His
that.
name is K.O.K.O. It would have been tough for both people.
Okay. And then this, I guess?
No one entered or left
That
the
one's
opera house through
incorrect.
its entrances. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
This.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances.
Oh my god, what is happening? The criminal must have understood the... Leaving aside how he died, K.O.K.O, and all the things coming down, all the strange noise could likely... And the sound of cow. And he said he's striving. Lainey was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. That's what I give in time. Oh my god, please. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house, so even if he had taken her to remote means of exiting, exiting from the box would have been in full view of the audience. Audience pretty much guaranteed that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where in the world did he sleep go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Magic escaping from the water tank. Wait, couldn't have been the water.
Opponents. But do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Hold on a second.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is K.O.K.O, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance.
I'm guessing it's the
To cover
base.
important evidence. The water.
This.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed
Yes, that's
into
true,
water...
Pieman.
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
Do you want me to go talk to Mona? She has a animation that she turns into a water. Don't at me. I request that we examine Caldwell's personal effects. We might find something there. Her lips looked like they wasn't there. And that scared me.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased.
Thank you, Nouvelle.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is,
oh my God,
supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but It's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if K.O.K.O was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your
Oh,
partners?
what's going on?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. K.O.K.O's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
The liquid the guards found in Caldwell's luggage seems to have the ability to dissolve spontaneous into water. Is it only spontaneous?
The deceased's name is K.O.K.O, Linney's
Who is the
assistant.
prime suspect currently? What item did the corporate use control the timing of the dissolution?
Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks. Lynette was in the magic box on stage.
I mean, it would be this one, maybe.
The water from the primordial sea.
What item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism behind the crime? Maybe this? All those who are incorrect.
The rope that strung the water. Now it seems like the hook rope was not.
This.
Now it seems like the hook rope. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else.
This. There we go. I got it.
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan,
Oh my god, I'm on. You jump scared me. It's not even October yet.
Box containing Halsey was lowered. The metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, K.O.K.O would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Now, It seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances
You
that
are
led to K.O.K.O's death.
humiliation,
His
Farina.
notes mentioned he had an accomplice
Have
who
you
could be related
noticed
to the
that you
situation.
dumb bitch disease?
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on
You are
stage
like
to
me
share it
for
with us.
real.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What? That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how
They
wonderfully
planted
comedic
it.
to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the
Ella
emblem
at
at all.
Purina.
Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the
I
evidence
think
we
someone
collected.
planted it.
There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
I sure hope not. For our own sakes.
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble
So what
Chief
happens to us
Justice,
now?
should we not, in your view, move... excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linny, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss,
Hello.
but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
What's gonna happen, guys?
And voila!
She's making her comeback debut.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wow.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin?
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed K.O.K.O. I admit it.
What? Why?
You did
Firstly,
what?
my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief! Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
Arena, you owe us an apology. If they're a practice hand at concealment, probably. A professional thief can make it work.
But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah, now it's time to repeat the Hydro Icon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective.
Why do we have to do it? Let's see this maybe. This would be the balloon.
The strange
I'm
sound
just
wasn't
gonna
from a
click
fight.
everything, I
It was
guess,
Lillian's attempt to break out when she was
until I
free.
find the answer. Okay, there's that.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and K.O.K.O.
That makes sense.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief.
And it's
Oh.
detective time on time!
That's it.
Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian
figured it out. Stop taking credit.
After she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, K.O.K.O leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking K.O.K.O out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Wow. Did you figure that out all by yourself? I'm not from help from me.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the Opera House these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to
We
light.
are blamed Paimon too.
So that's the
And
whole
it's okay
story.
though.
Bravo!
Paimon, forgive us. She can't survive without us.
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that. She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, K.O.K.O, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, K.O.K.O thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box, and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, K.O.K.O entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended,
that's karma.
hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent. While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Well, we won that.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Hey.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Let us not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
Oh. He turned into water.
And now he can no longer talk.
Wow.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Are we doing another trial? Never. Nothing is found on the scene apart from the liquid left behind. The problem seems to have been solved for now. We're not needed here anymore.
True, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
I just didn't wish to see anyone being falsely accused. I just wanted to be sure that we're square.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story?
Wait, what does she mean, she?
Back when our parents
As
first
a
died,
father.
Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister
Robo.
through several streets until we found a
Yeah,
crowded corner.
I wanted to
and we
stream
began to perform magic tricks there.
as much as I
To my
could this
surprise,
week.
we proved to be pretty
I
popular.
wasn't sure
And we could at least stop worrying about where our
how
next
often
meal
I
would
can
come from
stream
for a
this
time.
week.
But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever.
So I've been
Before long,
streaming
an
early
aristocrat
today
came
since
to
I
me
had
and
time.
claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side.
Thank
and we
you
could
for
say
stopping
goodbye to
by.
those painful days.
And
But
being able to
I
catch
gradually
the
discovered
stream.
that while we were called foster
I know
children,
I stream a little
he was really
late.
after my talent for magic tricks.
Primary
He would
people,
constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would
or
then use
most
to expand
people.
his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any
Thank you
rate.
for the head pass. Oh, it doesn't seem to be working this
It took a while for
stream.
me to realize just how dark
Under
his
his
heart really
broken
was.
or
After
offline.
one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle
Thank you
as
for
me.
the head.
I
Not
waited
so.
a long time after we returned home.
Sorry, it
She
didn't
did
work
not
this
come back.
stream.
I went to
What's
that
up
noble's
with
bedroom
it?
and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her
Also,
over as a
thank you
gift.
for redeeming your
I mean,
daily
you'll be able to
liquid.
perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Balance. So what happened after that?
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean,
Oh, wow.
Love, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
That's all in the past, though. The knave is after the genus, isn't she?
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the knave, has their roots in Fontaine, and we will always defend our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
from small deeds
Welcome
like
in.
distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at
Thank
dealing
you
with
for the
that
follow.
prophecy.
We're doing some Fontaine story quest. I'm a little behind on it. Sorry, but I can't completely trust you. Oh, you're a buddy of Robo's? I'm glad you stopped by then. A buddy of Robo's is a friend of mine as well.
I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can
enjoy
understand
this
that as a
stream.
member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand. Goodbye.
Bye, Linny.
So travel around. Traveler is a bit cold this time around. I guess we're leaving.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
Well, I'm sorry, Nadia.
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
I was really only trying to defend and wasn't necessarily looking into a serial disappearance, can say.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah. I see. Well,
We should just help
I won't
her.
lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating
I
with you,
bet
too.
you she watches those case
It was like having new water
shows.
going into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Well, if you say so, let's go have that meal then.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful! In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal!
That's nice. Let's go have our meal with her. We go this way, I think. Oh, that's pretty far. Let's see if I could teleport there. This is closer. We have to go to a hotel called the Abode. Trying to get to her as fast as I can. I wonder if it's a fancy restaurant. Oh, there's a white point here. That's good. Let's take that.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good.
It is a fancy restaurant.
People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
It's certainly raining. It was a pleasure working with you.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the
How
serial
considerate of
disappearances
her.
will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through. Where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's alright. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
We wanted to ask the Hydro Archon for some information, but we haven't had much of an opportunity to do so.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Alright, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part.
I think she forgot about
A
that.
person's desire for sleep.
How can you overlook something like that?
All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be
That's
too
true
embarrassed to
too.
refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
It's worth a try while someone with her personality really feel ashamed.
Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
I'd have to agree. My drink also tasted that way too.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
You could try walking, you know. You could try floating a little lower. She can try walking, to be honest.
Normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses
What the
this
heck
month,
is that
we're
supposed to mean?
Hey, Navia, what are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Seems that was pretty tough for her. That was a pretty pricey meal all day. Thanks to Paimon Payan.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh?
I'm just out here eating everything, to be honest.
You're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your request the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
There we go. We're starting a new chapter, guys. We have to go all the way over here, so let's just teleport so I don't need to walk all the way over there.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again?
Yes, and it's clear that it was during the day.
That's kinda spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning?
Vache? Vache.
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something nasty in the water.
I can feel strong emotions. Things are getting a little blurry.
Hang on. Paimon can kinda hear a voice. It's calling for Vache, right? Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Are we gonna drown? So oceanate. Oh my god. This is the boss we fight. Where is this?
Vache, are you my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be
No.
someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is?
I'm afraid not. I'm not. I'm sorry. Who are you? I already know who you are.
Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know. My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
You were once human.
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who has lost their form.
You lost your form.
I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim.
Light blue water. Could that have been? Could she be one of the girls who were dissolved?
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places of peril. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how dearly he loved me, and I also loved him equally as much. But now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting. I never knew how heavy it could be.
So you need me to find him?
No! Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new memories. The
Why
thought
not?
gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only thing I still remember.
I believe it will be hard for him to forget you.
Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vache above the surface. His eyes were filled with such sorrow, such longing. If only I could have comforted him, told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great warmth.
That means last year was a witness to the fact that you dissolved.
Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, I consider it a form of release. It was a state
That's
that
an
neither
interesting
healed
way
nor
of
frenzied,
looking at it.
with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want and anxiety.
It seems that after the body is dissolved, some measure of the consciousness still remains.
I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think.
I don't care about. Is that plain one all right? I wonder how much time has passed in reality.
Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vache, tell him not
Goodbye,
to seek me out
Oceania.
any longer.
I'll see you next time. I gotta bite you. What happened? Why is there war? Hi, Mom. What did you do? Oh my god. What is happening?
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, she just killed them all. Wish that were me. Wow. What is a relationship with one another?
I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
MMM.
It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
I see.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but
I
do
see
keep
how
an
it
eye out
is.
for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act against me. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with a Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish.
Hi, Lancer.
Regardless,
Welcome back.
Thank you for your help today,
Welcome
Corinne.
back.
But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
We have around 2 more hours of gameplay to do. If I have time tonight, I'll try and play. If not, I'll try and figure out if I could play
I suppose that's the
something
best news we've done
tomorrow.
today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations.
I try to get 4 hours in as much as I can.
She's...
What happened? Who was that?
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorand
I'm
who came
on.
out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
He's not wearing her stupid glasses anymore. Oh, so you're a fighter now? 5 months? Thanks for the rescue, Navia. But she just called Paimon. 5 months.
Oh.
What the heck was that?
Forget all that polite
TTS?
talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two. That's enough.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing
What
my
did I
feet
and
by the
Mom
seat.
do?
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky.
What do you mean by that? I thought it tasted strange as well, but I couldn't be sure.
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors, so how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial
Someone
sea?
tried to drug us.
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Oh, I see.
Really?
They're trying to turn Nabia into goo. Fortunately, I'm on. Neither of us are from Fontaine. Otherwise we would have. Then turn to go. Like Guichi from Luigi's Mansion 2. Updated version or was it 3? I was there 3. I don't know.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger, and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Well,
miraculous.
You did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial sea
They're
water?
trying to kill
Well, it
us.
can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
According to Lynette, the ability to hear the voices like that has to do with one's sensitivity to the hydro element. We're gonna get hydro soon. We're gonna water them pistol with our finger.
Does
And
that
then,
mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
I also gained some new intel.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we?
The boys in the fountain belonged to one of the missing women. A person named Bashir was a witness when she dissolved.
Oh, that is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened?
If he's still alive, we should try searching for him. Yeah, we have no idea this guy is dead or not, and we don't know how long Ocean did.
This is very
It must
important.
been Ocean in, right?
We will continue to investigate.
All right, partner, but we mean us too, right?
Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not.
Yes.
You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you, Traveler?
Messing with us will cost them. This will prove to be our biggest mistake.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you. We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
I have no idea what that reads in. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I know I would mature it. Okay, let's teleport. Oh, there actually is a white. Let's try and navigate to the waypoint, so we can open more of the map. It's up there. It's good to open the map, then I know where the waypoints are. I don't think I ever bought a jellyfish before, but okay. They're sad. We need to go down here. What? As well. There is so much. I gotta go. 2. Let's teleport here. Why is it disabled? Let's see. Now we can go, I think. Where would it be? I think it's all the way at the top. I see it, I think. My friend Elaine said earlier to scale. Up here. To get to it. I think I just butchered that, but that's okay. Let's go up this ledge and then take a rest. As I just used up all my stamina. Okay, never mind. We're just gonna drop. I'm trying to find places I could rest to get all the way up there. If I can make it there, we could take a little rest. So I won't drop and die at all. It's right there. Can I make it? Can I cut through? Oh. I can. Let's just open it real fast and then continue with the mission. Oh, that person needs help. I'll take on the commission too. I must say the weather today is simply wonderful. You are quite the beautiful young lady. Virtual at yourself this. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, K.O.K.O at your service. I'm K.O.K.O, and my companion is called Timon. A pleasure. 9 months. 9 month? And is that your service too? Are such elegant names. Welcome. Port of Fontaine. It is truly an honor to meet the two of you here. Occupy One can't stand much more of this. How did you know we're not from Fontaine? With a glance, it is obvious that you are unseat. He was gonna say we're uncivilized. Sir, do you want a slap? like you're unsatisfied with being bathed in the soft lights of the city. But feel the call of the wind. Will never be eliminated by bright city lights. Yes, just like the heroes in the operas. Yeah, that's totally true culture. It's an amazing adventure to add a stray basis and all that jazz. Ah, I knew it. Those of the adventurous fields are biggerly. He is asking for a throwdown. I guess I forgot what wrestling move I was going to say. Vaguely. Courageous warriors begging with their heart to unlock the deepest memories of the world. They wake with their eyes to the stars above and sleep with their backs to the abyss below. Where there is an unknown domain, there is. It's an adventurer who simply must explain very, very, very bursting beyond the brim. I cannot help but notice how your gaze is focused on many things. Perhaps you wish you said the arts of lime arts, our intricate clockwork mega, or our advanced civil culture. Julie, that the recreations adorning your magnificent city are sublime. Clockwork mecca are exquisite and intricate design specific. Culture of your is simply divine. And it's okay, I guess. Amazing payment, didn't even notice the decorations. The time I didn't notice that Fontaine has lots of delicious food that she's never seen anywhere else. Not bad, is it? We have a long and glorious tradition of gourmet culture in Fontaine. Naturally, the two of you must often take your meals in great outdoors, and it's unfortunately limited in your ability to sample the breath. Font super cuisine. I'm able to experience the luxury switches that is leisurely afternoon tea. With a few pastries. You don't look that rich. I pinned more of a chance to sample between that you think I'm listening. Hey K.O.K.O, let's get back on topic 5. Mountain thinks Rachel has a commission for us. Most excellent, my two exceptional friends. Have you heard of the live? Lincoln, she's treasure. What did TTS say? Okay, whatever. Nope, haven't heard a bit. MMM. Then please allow me to explain this. This is a legend of a lost treasure that has been asked down in Fontaine for centuries. Is he just trying to teach us culture, or is his actual commission? Once there was a secret society called the Lilias. Crucis form. that was able to attract a great many, the rich and influential. So they humbly call themselves a form that. Their actual plan was to overthrow Fontaine itself. In the end, their conspiracy was exposed in the pie. The distinguished members of the Forum engaged in a thrilling battle with the Mason Guardian Inch, but were ultimately defeated in a climactic showdown. However, my dear friends, you must know that they are once Richard. We must have gathered a tremendous amount. About. Yes, they definitely did, and they must have a huge treasure vault somewhere. And when you open it, well, it's overflowing with nothing but those shining like the sun. Correct. They wish to overthrow our beautiful Fontaine, and to do so they must. A fortune so vast that they could literally be said to have more money than Lorax. However, this wealth was never found. So you want us to go find it? So that means as long as we can find the treasure, we'll be rich. Excellent deduction, my dear Prima, with that fortune and control of sin. Anyway, after a lengthy investigation, I discovered the location of the Lilia Crucis, Forum's headquarters. It can be found amidst the underwater ruins outside the city. Really? What do you think, my dear Paimon K.O.K.O? I hereby sincerely extend an invitation to both of you to become my partners and dive beneath the waves to search for the lost treasure. Even though Fontaine's water is different from elsewhere highlights. I never forget how she was drowning before being rescued by you. Never fear, I am here. Is that supposed to be like All Might? Yeah, you'll save time on again for sure. If that's settled, please allow me to prepare diving equipment for the two of you. I should have the correct sizes. There's no need. Oh my gosh. Speaking of All Might. I made a joke to my friend because she never played Zenly Zone Zero before, and then I did the pointing All Might meme and say, "Is her turn now?" And then she sent me a weird TikTok. That scared me. But it had that all might mean minute. Ah yes, I remember vision holders may die freely in our waters, but if it's you, dear Koko. Of course, I do not doubt your abilities. Koko is a famed adventurer, and she must be very aware of her limits. Oh, my name is so funny. I've seen some weird stuff going around with it. That is funny. But it just so happens I do not share the same capabilities. So I will have to rely on our homegrown technology to keep myself active. Be that as it may, shall we begin? I'm supposed to do the main story guy. I only tried to take your commission. Yes, please lead the way or wait. Let me prepare for first. I guess you should lead the way. Your wish is my command. Please follow me. Our destination is not far from the court of Fontaine. You arrive with virtue and a place that seems a bit deserted. Well, it looks so heavy and so hot and stuffy. Oh my god, he looks like a little goober. Actually, you can place. Wrapped in cloth inside to lower the temperature. As for the weight, well, just put it underwater. There's no time for delay. Let's go, my friends. I love the sea. I should play Subnautica on the channel. I have it on my wish list for the longest time, but I never got the chance to get it yet. Oh, we can actually go back to the being now. Main storyline. We'll do that one later.
Right ahead, but let's make
Beside
sure
missions.
I've been keeping watch, demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Huh, very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler.
I'm to go. Where are we going now? Oh, we're going underneath. How far is a drop? Is there someone I gotta fight? Oh. I don't see any chest I can grab down here. I feel like there has to be one somewhere. This is a good place to find red horn lizards, apparently. Oh, wait. Point. We have to go this way. Why are we underground, though? Is this where she lives? Underground.
So, this is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Thank you all so much for my expectations.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering.
You don't look like you're in a tight
From
spot.
citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that does sound like it's worth it.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father... he was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father
Oh
was
no.
I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself.
It does seem quite odd. Do you have any clues as to why?
The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive.
Let's find out the
fact
cause
that
of
my mother
her
died due to complications when giving
father.
birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Keeping the truth for the sake of your family. That's basically what we're doing. You know, we're quite alike in this regard.
Mademoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet All it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's
That's
opponent
true.
in the duel.
I'm on We Need Justice, guys.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him?
No wonder the mood was a little strange between the two of you.
Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself to do that.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel,
That's true.
Master Callus requested that she
Don't force
ensure
yourself
there was
to
no
do
doubt of
anything.
safety.
Then that indicates that he intended to die in that duel.
Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end.
No, it's all right. I understand how important this is to you.
Thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah, Paimon's beat.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest soundly.
Rest in my room. Peaceful night passes under the spinadol. I can't even read, I mean.
Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette, a place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing recently. We should be able to find some related information there.
So Nervalette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we? Aren't you coming along, Navia? Did you get tired?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice.
All right. There is so much story. I haven't even bought that much in this game yet. I don't even think I bought it all.
Come on.
What's over there?
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalette's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
No, except Shinobi.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is
Can you
just
trust
inside.
him, though?
Thanks so much.
I do not think he should have trusted us.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait
And
a
if he's
moment while I
dead?
browse through the files.
Who knew that Nervalette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
He's probably dead. Oceania seems like she was here for very long. Yes, that's that. So we're back to square one.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Just like that.
Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express
It
some
gets a little
tendril of
touchy
regret?
when you talk about.
No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your
Our
words.
father.
You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express
Your lip sync
anything.
was off there.
Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the
This is
apathy
so
of the
sad,
Chief
though.
Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Oh man, that was a lot. To take in.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
And it started raining in the game.
Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
In your father's case, was he outside when it happened? Well, if he's doing it, should be outside, right?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value.
But there was something you didn't know at the time.
Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
The fact that people can be turned into water. Was her dad turning into water? Can you turn them back?
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then got washed away with the rain? Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities!
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now?
My
or do you want to head over by
Weiser.
yourself later?
I thought she said croissant. Like Carl Weiser. We should go while the idea is still fresh. You can go first. I'll join you later.
Great, let's go then.
Let's go.
Violet grass is a plant that enjoys a moist environment and is best picked after it rains. If you should choose to
We
pick
have
any,
to go
be
down.
sure to store them appropriately.
Teleport wing point and a viewpoint.
Whoa!
Nice.
What a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
Oh, thank you, Lancer. Thank you for the bits. Why 69, Lancer? What are you trying to say to me? Yeah. Is that the funny numbers? Nice. Oh my god, Lancey, you crack me up. I think I'm starting to get why you like it. And then that statement too. Oh my god, why did that statement come after the bits? No. Oh,
Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula
I'm
had a
crying.
glorious past.
That's so
Paimon was
funny.
confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di
Big
Rosula
ship.
began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
That did it. So funny. How do I get over there? I just have to run, I guess. That was. So that was like perfect timing, like I guess. Especially with the statement that I have to read out. From Genshin. I have to go up. Do I have to go like above ground? I don't know, but... To do it over here? Oh my god, what the heck? I just saw him jump from one platform to another, like there was nothing in between. I think I might be going the wrong way. Not too sure though. I know I went the right way.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Balus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could the mastermind be the same person?
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's
Did they
almost
say
certain that
we
synth
can
is
use
created
some
using
kind of
water from the
drug?
primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop
I feel
to
like
synth
this
use
is like
and
drinking
call for a complete
alcohol or
ban of
like
it.
doing a really bad drug,
This
I think.
uncompromising attitude incurred the
I'm not
synth
too
vendor's
sure.
wrath, but no matter how
I
much
don't
they
do
threatened
drugs at
or
all.
bribed him, he refused
So I
to
wouldn't
yield.
know how that is.
Not only that, Boss
I
became
know
determined to find the mastermind behind the synth
that
operation.
alcohol can
Put an
change
end
your
to the
mood
problem
and
once
stuff.
and for all.
Yes.
Not sure if
The
that's
enemy
like
was very cunning.
the same thing as
He
other
could never get
drugs.
anything out of the dealers.
I do
All of
have
whom only
family
sold the
members
stuff
that are like
and weren't privy to the rest of
alcoholics.
the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them.
And it can affect some of their
He was
mood,
able to
but
convince
like it
someone
can
to become
affect
his
their mood
informant.
as well when
The man's
drinking.
name was Jacques.
It
He felt
depends on
greatly
the
ashamed
type
about
of
his
person,
works
I
after
think.
seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside
I
estate.
heard a lot of
He
different
planned to meet up and
people
exchange information with Jacques over some food.
have different
Then,
effects when using
we heard
different
2 gunshots
drugs.
from the courtyard.
So it's not
Raced to the
always
scene
the
and
same
found my
experience, I
father,
think,
still holding a gun,
which
and
is
Jacques,
wild.
who was already dead on the ground.
I guess it's kind of like when people use medicine. They have different side effects.
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
So they could have belonged to someone who got dissolved.
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were
Maybe your
fired.
father got into an argument with Jacques. But it's also possible that the third person was to blame.
You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely
Good on you,
remorseful for his
Nadia.
past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act.
Really loves
Your
her.
partner appears to be quite reliable.
She's such a
and
good
more
character.
importantly, Demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Oh,
Boss also didn't tell you that he...
that's why she was going to die.
diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding
Hello,
this
Sidrad.
correctly,
Welcome
Demoiselle.
in.
What
Welcome
Boss
in.
wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword.
Oh my god, Lancer made me laugh so
Hear you
hard
telling
at the
me
69
that you
bits.
want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved. I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given
Your
it to me
connection's
straight?
bad,
No.
but you can hear that's
He might have
okay.
set up everything precisely
That's
because
okay.
he never thought I'd be
Thank
able
you
to
for
understand
redeeming
him.
your deem.
Is that the amount of confidence he
Liquid.
had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now?
He gave me the choice to live how you want.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, What was the key evidence that he shared?
Is that what she said?
It's the location.
I
where
swear to
synth
God
is
I said
produced.
daily liquid.
Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters.
My God.
Who's threatening the enemy boss didn't
How
share the
sassy of her.
specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against
Sassy.
the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into
Susie.
consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget
Oh,
that we're
that
fighting
was so
against a
funny.
mysterious and dangerous
The way she said
organization that's
Susie.
been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We
Oh
also
wait,
have no idea
there's
what
no
kind
sorry
of
there
evidence we may be
anymore.
able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture.
I was trying to
A
get the
single
star.
visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice.
He does get it.
Things are different now.
Of course Sid
It
Red
should be
would
a
get
lot
it.
easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Maloose.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will.
You guys are
I've
so
always been willing to
silly.
take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you for all of that, Maloose. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost
This story
circle,
is so
he always
interesting.
knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time. There's someone else like
I
him
think
too.
this is like the most
Marcel,
interesting
head
story.
of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Out of Kensington.
Uncle Marcel.
I said Genshin. What is conferring?
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning,
Yeah,
there were only
I don't know if there's any other well-written stories like
now they're one of the richest guilds
Fontaine
around with a
and
lot of business
Genshin.
connections in the city.
This has to be the best.
Sister organization of Spina di
One.
Rosula?
Yes,
It is me.
you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt
I
down
especially love Nabia's
The
story.
final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution
People
to not
can be
alert the
conning
coroner.
like that.
Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Malus.
Oh,
You've
I
provided us
see,
with a
I
lot of
see.
great information.
Yeah,
You're too kind,
scenario
Mike.
was a pretty good
I'm just
story,
doing my duty.
but Fontaine's
Before
like
I
white.
forget, proving Boss's
Better.
innocence would also
I agree
mean
with
clearing
that.
him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner.
He is the best. What a piece of one that killed him. Why did that be messed up?
I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and
Read
end
it
this
to
case
me.
once and for all.
Alice case records. 3 years ago, on a rainy night, banquet goers heard 2 gunshots outside the house. When they had reached the scene, Alice had a gun in his hand and Jacques had been shot and slain. Based on the investigations and then there was no possibility that anyone else could have done the deed and escaped. And Callus was such a justice to have been the culprit. Okay. Where are we going next? We have to go here. Aw, IMO. Ruined that jump.
It is settled then. Please excuse
What
me and
happened?
enjoy your conversation.
Oh my god.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet.
Oh, why is she sitting at her like that? What's her problem?
that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
Okay, after this cutscene, they gotta go.
I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so
Do you
needlessly.
guys have anyone we should raid out?
At all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to all of us.
Dang. I would be mad too.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought mora was everything. So when Mr. Callus came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us.
Why doesn't that mean someone ordered jocks too? Take out Callus.
I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who...
These stories are sad.
Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
That's true too.
He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
The storyline's so heartbreaking and kind of wholesome too. It gets sadder. Why would you tell me that? What's wrong with you?
Osmanthus
Testimony from John's family. John's family believes that he has struggled greatly with the order to kill Callus. Did Callus act in self-defense, or was there more to the incident? Okay, that's all the time I have for now. I'm going to have to leave work. We're gonna raise someone out. And thank you guys for stopping by. And sticking with the stream. And hearing all this sad stuff.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
See you guys whenever. I got to figure out my stream schedule still. See you guys.